So the third website or performance testing tool I'm going to be exempling for you is Google's PageSpeed Insights. And Google's PageSpeed Insights is not really even a speed test per se, as much as it is a performance best practices tool that lets you know whether or not you are adhering to what Google says it wants in order to be able to recognize your pages as fast. So what we have here is basically the same thing that we have in the other speed testing tools that we've reviewed thus far. A field in which to enter your URL, and you analyze it. And there you have your results, both for your mobile site as well as the desktop version of your site. For mobile, you're given, again, a speed. Green means good, green means go. Were there a problem there, I believe, should this fall anywhere below 70 something, this would be in yellow here. It's recommended. Consider fixing recommendations here. Leverage browser caching. There's nothing we can do for our site about this specific recommendation, nor is there anything that we can do about this specific recommendation, nor would actually fixing them enhance performance in any way. So this is not a perfect tool, but it does give you the best guidelines for which to follow. You also get a user experience grade here. Congratulations, no issues found. The recommendations being avoid plugins if we were using, and it's not a plugin in the sense of a WordPress website plugin, but a plugin in a different sense. Configuration of the viewport, were that problematic, it would show up with this yellow exclamation point. Excuse me. Were the size content, were there a problem with sizing our content to the viewport? In other words, if text were to fall outside of the viewport or an image were to fall outside of the viewport, this would be indicated as well as problematic with this color. Also, where this can show up in red, which means that there are serious problems, and PageSpeed Insights would list those problems out for you. We're passing all of the rules here, or 8 of the 10 rather. But if, for example, you're not enabling gzip compression, here it says consider fixing, but the indication would instead be must, or not must, but should fix, and then this indicator would be in red. Or alternately, if our images were not all optimized, that would indicate up here as well, and all these problems would cause a decreased page speed grade for our mobile site. Same instances with or same principle rather with the desktop version of our website. Google also provides here opportunity to download optimized versions of the images with which it finds problems, JavaScript as well as CSS resources with which it finds problems. A quick note here about PageSpeed Insights, though. While you're getting a speed per se grade here, PageSpeed Insights is not actually giving us any actionable metrics whatsoever. There's no numbers here, there's no waterfall, there's nothing. And by that fact, it makes it what I've already referred to it as, a best practices tool, letting you know whether or not you are adhering to what Google wants and what Google assumes makes the fastest websites. I'm always also mentioning this because while Google claims that PageSpeed Insights does not in any way factor into your search engine rankings, this specific tool does not factor into your specific website's page speed rankings. It's still hard to believe that somewhere or another similar algorithm is not in play analyzing actual web pages during actual searches, that a similar mechanism is not in place evaluating your page on top of what we already know Google uses to evaluate the speed of your website and your web page is specifically being crowdsourcing. In other words, when someone is using the Chrome browser and lands on your website, Google can gather information from that visit from the Chrome browser as to how long everything took for things, for example, how when they landed on your page, whether or not, how soon rather the content on the site began to render, how long it took it to be interactive, and how long it took for all of that above the fold content, as well as everything else, to go ahead and load and to be interactive for the user. So in the end, Google PageSpeed Insights is most valuable for two reasons. The first being that it is sort of a blend of synthetic and organic, in that you want to know whether or not you're adhering to what Google wants from your website in order to assume or presume that your website is fast. The second being that you want to make sure, in the event that Google is in fact using algorithms similar to what they are using here for this actual tool, in the event that they are using those algorithms or similar algorithms to actually evaluate the speed of your site and therefore to place you in some or another way in search results, you want these scores to be really as high as they can possibly be, in spite of the fact that PageSpeed Insights does not actually provide you with actionable metrics, no numbers, just whether or not you're adhering to best practices, Google best practices, and what they ultimately want to see you doing as far as optimizing your website.